This is the Harbor Freight Central Pneumatic brand 20-piece air compressor starter kit. This is item number 61310. And included are a whole bunch of fittings, a blowgun and a tire chuck, a nylon hose or polyethylene hose, and a whole bunch of fittings. This is a great kit to get started with, especially if you just got your first air compressor, especially one of the little pancake jobbies they have, like the 3 or the 6 gallon or something like that. Now, if you're new to compressed air, we're going to go over the fittings here. Basically, we have all of these plugs, and these are more or less sockets here. Alright, so the way this works is this. This one here is a 1/4 inch female quick connect plug. You can see they give you 2 of those. Inside there are threads. Anything that's threaded that's 1/4 inch will go into that, such as these here, which you can do, but that's not a really useful device. This, however, is threaded. That's a male quick connect that would go in over here. Another thing you can do with this is hook that up to one end of this hose. Unfortunately, it's kind of tucked in there, so I can't show it to you until I open the package, which I will do. So that'll fit on that, and then you can put one of these on the other end of the hose, and then that will accept any one of these or these, anything like that, such as what you would put into your blowgun or your tire chuck. So once again, they give you the quick connect plugs here, the female and the male. There's 3 male, 2 female. They give you a 1/4 inch female connector that's threaded on the insides there, so you could take 2 of these and screw them together if you needed to. And they also give you the reverse of that over here, the 1/4 inch male connector. These 2 over here could screw together with that. Over here is your blowgun, and they give you different nozzles with that. They give you a safety nozzle, which prevents too much pressure. They give you a blowgun adapter, which is for use with the inflation needles here for blowing up basketballs and things of that nature. They give you a tapered nozzle, which is nice because it's gets down to a real thin point like that for real fine close-up work. And they give you the regular blowgun nozzle with a rubber tip. That's my favorite myself, because that way you don't damage sensitive stuff. And 2 of the quick connect couplers here. And they also give you a dual head tire chuck. Basically what this is, here's your tire where you fill it up, and you just jam that onto that like that. What's this one for? You ever drive and you see one of those 18-wheelers up next to you and the filler thing goes the other way? Well, you take that and put it on it going that way, so it can go either direction. And they give you a tire gauge just for completeness, as well as the thread seal tape, the Teflon tape right there. So let's take this out of the package and connect everything together. Okay, laid out in a little bit better order here, you can see what can be done here. Here's your blowgun and the different nozzles and things that you can connect to it here. Okay, your tire gauge, which we'll just set aside. This is not by any kind of means any sort of quality. It looks shiny metal, but it's plastic. Set that aside. This is metal. This is your tire chuck. Okay, and now what we need to do is go ahead and install a fitting into that and install a fitting into that. For that, we're going to need the thread seal tape. Okay, you can see how this is pretty simple here. This screws together just like that and goes in, and same thing with this one here. Okay, just like that. But again, we need to use the thread seal tape. Now you have to wrap that in a particular fashion to ensure a good seal. So we'll open this up. You get the end of it here. And you want to wrap the tape in the same direction that it's going to be screwing in. Okay, you see how I have the tape this way? Take a note of my left hand here, my right hand here, and we're going to wrap the tape around the threads going in that direction. Because that way, as you can see here, when I cut the tape, the free end will be this way. So when I go and I screw this in the direction that it's going to tighten into whatever we're putting it into, it won't unravel. So I'm going to continue and wrap that a bit so we get some nice sealant on there. This thread seal tape that they give you in here is not the highest quality. It will get you by. I do recommend you pick up another roll of that. They sell it there. It's like $1. Worth it to have. This stuff you can just usually just break with your fingers like that. And now smooth it out. You can clean up any that you missed there. Okay. This now we'll screw together. Don't cross thread it. Okay, that's finger tight. Now we'll get a wrench. Okay, I have a pair of adjustable wrenches on here, as you can see, and we can tighten that down. Now, not too tight. Get it tight, get it a little more tight, and then that's about it. Right there, no more, because if you go too far, you will end up cracking this here. Same thing with the blowgun. Now the blowgun, you don't have a wrench you can put on that, so you're going to have to just hold on to that, and yeah, that's going to dig into your hand. It's once and done. I'm going to go ahead and put the fitting into that, and then we'll get into the little nozzles and that. Okay, now that that's installed, and this is also installed, you'll notice you still see some of the white thread sealant tape sticking out. That's okay. Don't try to screw this all the way in. I guarantee you will crack this thing, and then you will not be happy. Just make it tight. How do you find out if it's good? Well, you can stick it into a bucket of water, and if there are no bubbles that come out, it's nice and tight, and you don't have to worry about it. Now on to the nozzles. Here's the ball inflator nozzle, and you'll notice that doesn't work. And that's because you need to use the little adapter piece here that they give you, which just screws in. Now you don't have to use thread seal tape on that. You can if you want. And now this screws right in. And now you can go and put that into the ball and psh, psh, and you're good. These can be removed. And this one is the safety nozzle, okay, that goes in like that. Now you'll notice this here has a hole and another hole. So even if you block the end of it, air is still going to come out. I have no use for that myself, so I generally don't use that one. They also give you the metal nozzle, which also requires the little adapter piece that we had for the ball inflation nozzle. So we'll just get that in real quick for you. Okay, it's a good nozzle. It's got a nice tiny point on it, so again, it's good for real close-up stuff. Okay, like that. We're going to remove that, and I'll show you the rubber nozzle, which is my favorite, which is this here. And that screws in just like that. I would recommend that you glue this rubber nozzle on. While it's on here for now, later on you're going to be blowing with this and go, where did my black nozzle go? So when it falls off, keep an eye out for it, and when you find it, put a dot or two of crazy glue on and slip this back on. You'll notice what's nice about this is it's nice and flexible. Probably won't stay that way. It'll probably dry out and get kind of hard, but it'll work for now. It'll be nice and flexible, and it won't damage like electronics and stuff like that. So you could really get in there and clean stuff out good. Just for demonstration purposes, we'll just screw that on like that, and we'll take the quick disconnect fitting over here and hook that up to the other end. Again, we'll just screw that on temporarily. And now the way this works is you pull back the sleeve, insert that all the way, and let go. Now it's locked in. The good part is that when you release it, no air comes out. So it's a quick disconnect. And I recommend all of your air tools be equipped with all of these fittings. Makes it real easy to swap tools in and out. You can also, obviously, just like a garden hose, connect two hoses end to end, just like that, if you need to extend it or anything. And of course your tire chuck from before would plug right in, and then this would go right onto your tire filler, and then once again you can use the included tire gauge to test that. Setting that aside for a moment, what would you use this for? Well, it's kind of difficult at this point because I don't have all the fittings because they're installed on other things, but you'll notice this can screw on here, and that converts this male thread to a female thread. So if I had something else that was a male thread, and some tools are like that, that could be connected there if you imagine that this piece were a tool. Or vice versa. This can go into here like that, and we've converted the female to a male. And that just helps you if you have just one fitting and it's not the right. It's basically a gender changer, gender bender, whatever you want to call it, if that's even politically correct to say nowadays. One other great thing for compressed air, if you have an in-ground sprinkler system and you do have cold winters in your area, that system should be winterized or blown out. Or if you have a cabin in the woods or something like that, that again you are not there over the winter and you don't want it to freeze, you can blow it out. One of the best ways I found to do that is to use whatever air compressor you have, provided it is suitable in size and a volume of air to do the job. But you can use two fittings like this, and you'll notice once again they screw together. And like I said before, this is kind of useless, but what's great about it, this will connect to any of your air fittings, okay, just like you would have a hose on there like before, okay. And now this would be blowing constantly. So what you do here is you get yourself a plain old everyday washing machine fill hose. Cut it in half. This piece right here is just the right diameter to fit inside of that and put a hose clamp on it. Now you have compressed air going into that, which then has the piece that screws on your outdoor faucet, and you can blow out all of your plumbing or your sprinkler system or what have you. So a lot of useful things you can do with this kit over here. They don't give you all the fittings you're ever going to need. Again, this gives you enough fittings for the blowgun and the tire filler, and enough fittings for the hose, as we saw before. And then you're left with two, which again you can use one or the other on whatever tools you end up getting, and again you can bend that any way that you need to with the different adapters. And they also give you one more here. So a good idea would be to buy, say, another hose, and you could use this fitting and this fitting, which would fit on the ends of the hose just like we did over there. Or again, if you don't have the right one, you can change it using either of these two. You're going to end up buying some more fittings. Don't worry, they're not really expensive. The El Cheapo ones, like what are included in this package, are pretty much $1, $1.29 a piece. And yeah, if you want, you can use a 20% off coupon on that. So really, the sky's the limit here as far as how far that you want to go. One more note about the hose. While it looks like it's nice and it flexes, and it does, it will work, it's great, this type of plastic will harden in time. It may be 6 months, it may be a year, and what's going to happen is when you have this connected, you'll flex it and it's going to end up snapping right here. And the whole other end of the hose, or even worse, is over here. This will snap, and now you got a hose that's nice and flexible like that, that's flailing around wildly. So you don't really want to leave this type of hose under pressure, Real convenient though if you have it mounted up in the ceiling or something like that, so it's easy reach, you know, so you could just grab that and plug in whatever tool you need. Once again, this was the Harbor Freight Central Pneumatic brand 20-piece air compressor starter kit, item 61310. All in all, a great value for the money. Even if you throw out the rest and just take the fittings, that's generally a pretty good buy. You can always use an extra blowgun. You'll probably lose that at one point or another, or what have you. Stuff like that. Another good thing is if you happen to be stuck on all kinds of medication, if you have an empty pill bottle, you can stick all these little things into that, and that'll give you a nice little convenient storage container. All in all, like I said, a very nice starter kit, sometimes worth it alone just for the fittings if you do need a bunch of them. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.